It's 6:30 p.m. You're standing in the grocery store aisle. All you need is a bottle of olive oil. One bottle. But as you look at the shelf, a storm starts brewing. You aren't just looking at prices, you're calculating smoke points, you're checking the harvest dates, you're wondering if the extra virgin label is actually regulated in this country. You're debating the carbon footprint of the glass versus the plastic bottle. 10 minutes pass. You're still there. You've successfully solved complex equations at work and navigated difficult interpersonal dynamics this morning. But right now, a $12 bottle of oil has paralyzed you. Welcome to the intelligence paradox. Why is it that the more your brain is capable of processing, the harder it becomes to do the simplest things? Why does high intelligence often lead to paralysis by analysis? Today, we're going deep. We're going to look at the 8 psychological reasons why your high IQ is actually sabotaging your decision-making and how you can finally break the cycle. To understand why smart people struggle with decisions, we first have to understand how a highly intelligent brain operates. As we've discussed here on Psych to Go, intelligence isn't just an IQ score, it's a multi-dimensional construct. If you have a high cognitive ability, your brain is like a supercomputer with a massive bandwidth. When a simple person sees a choice between A and B, they see 2 paths. But when you see A and B, your brain automatically generates C, D, E, and a dozen what-if scenarios for each. Daniel Goleman, the father of emotional intelligence, notes that while IQ predicts academic success, it doesn't always predict life efficiency. The struggle. You don't see a simple decision because for you, nothing is simple. Every action has a reaction. Every choice has an opportunity cost. Psychological insight. This is known as hyper-brain theory. Your prefrontal cortex is so efficient at finding connections that it refuses to ignore the minor variables. You aren't just choosing a movie to watch, you're choosing how to spend 2 hours of your finite life. The stakes feel high because your brain is too good at simulating the future. Psychologist Barry Schwartz famously divided decision makers into 2 categories: maximizers and satisficers. Satisficers have a good enough threshold. They need a phone, they find one that works, has a good camera, and fits their budget. Done. Decision made in 10 minutes. Maximizers, however, are almost always highly intelligent. A maximizer cannot settle for good enough. They need the best. They need to know that out of every possible option in the universe, they chose the optimal one. The trap. In a world of infinite choice, Amazon, Netflix, Tinder, the maximizer is doomed. Because there is always a better option just one more click away, the intelligent person spends more time researching the life they want to live than actually living it.
The result? High levels of regret. Even when a maximizer makes a great choice, they lie awake wondering if the other olive oil would have tasted better. In the research we cited earlier, a 2015 study suggested that people with exceptionally high IQs sometimes struggle with a lower emotional intelligence, or EQ. Why does this affect decisions? Because most simple decisions in life, where to eat, what to wear, how to reply to a text, are actually social and emotional decisions, not logical ones. If you try to solve an emotional problem using only logic, you will get stuck. Logic is binary, emotions are fluid. The struggle? You're invited to a party. A person with high EQ feels the vibe and says yes or no based on their energy. A person with high IQ starts a mental spreadsheet. Who will be there? What is the probability of a meaningful conversation? What is the cost of the Uber versus the social capital gained? By the time you've finished the calculation, the party's over. You've used your cognitive processor to solve a problem that was meant for your heart. With great intelligence comes great expectation. If you grew up as the smart kid, your identity is likely tied to being right. For you, making a mistake isn't just a minor slip-up, it's a threat to your self-concept.
The analysis paralysis. This creates a crushing pressure to succeed in even the smallest tasks. If you pick a bad restaurant for a group of friends, you feel like you failed as a leader or an expert. This leads to a phenomenon called evaluation apprehension. You become so afraid of the potential failure of a bad decision that you choose the only safe option, indecision. As long as you don't decide, you haven't failed yet. You're just still thinking. But as the late Uncle Ben and Daniel Goleman would remind us, the refusal to decide is a decision in itself, one that usually leads to stagnation. Does your mind ever feel like it has the munchies? Highly intelligent people crave constant intellectual stimulation. This is great for learning a new language or mastering a craft, but it's a nightmare for daily life. The struggle. Simple decisions are boring. Choosing a laundry detergent doesn't stimulate your brain. Because it's boring, your brain tries to make it interesting by overcomplicating it. Psychological insight. You turn a 5-second choice into a research project just to give your brain something to do. This is a form of productive procrastination. You're avoiding the big, scary life decisions by obsessing over the small, meaningless ones. We need to talk about neuroplasticity. As Daniel Goleman explained, the brain changes with repeated experience. If you spend years overanalyzing every small detail, you're literally wiring your brain to be indecisive. You are strengthening the neural pathways of doubt and reevaluation. The cycle. You overthink because you're smart, you get anxious because you're overthinking, your brain associates decision-making with anxiety. Next time you overthink even more to try to reduce that anxiety. It becomes an automatic habit. Even when you want to be spontaneous, your brain's logic gatekeeper steps in and demands a 20-page report before you're allowed to have fun. Finally, we have to look at how intelligence affects our social decisions. Intelligent people are often overly analytical of social cues.
The struggle. You send a text, they don't reply for 4 hours. A simple person thinks they're busy. An intelligent person thinks, did I use the wrong tone? Was that joke too obscure? Are they distancing themselves because of what I said 3 weeks ago? Let me analyze the last 10 interactions. The cost. This social overanalysis bleeds into every decision. You don't just pick an outfit, you pick a social signal. You don't just choose a hobby, you choose an identity. The weight of everyone else's perceived judgment, which you've simulated in your own head, makes the simplest choice feel like a life or death maneuver. So, if you're a maximizer with a hyperbrain who is overly analytical, are you doomed to spend the rest of your life stuck in the grocery aisle? No. As Daniel Goleman says, emotional intelligence is learnable. Step 1. The 70% rule. Jeff Bezos once said that most decisions should be made with about 70% of the information you wish you had. If you wait for 90%, you're being too slow. If you wait for 100%, you're already obsolete. Step 2. Satisfice on purpose. Choose 3 areas of your life where you will intentionally settle for good enough. Maybe it's your clothes, your groceries, or your gym routine. Save your high intelligence for the things that actually build your future. Step 3. Listen to the gut. Your gut feeling is actually your subconscious mind processing information faster than your conscious logic can. If you feel a yes, go with it. Remember, intelligence is a tool, but even the best tool can become a trap if you don't know when to put it down. You are more than your IQ score. You are more than your academic achievements. You are a human being who deserves the peace of a simple choice. Do you relate to the struggle of paralysis by analysis? Which of these 8 points hit home for you? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your thought-provoking and highly intelligent perspectives. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Psych2Go for more looks into the complex world of the human mind. And as always, thanks for watching.